Here's what you missed last time on Twitter.com. X? Twitter.com. A senior editor at Kotaku got called out by someone on the platform who said that this woman who is a former cam girl, allegedly, has a tattoo that says all men are enemies. That person unironically did not know that it's a reference to the book Animal Farm. It was not some sort of statement that this woman hates men and that she's ruining games by editing content for Kotaku.com and hating men. And so she had to point it out to him, and then Twitter community notes also had to point it out to him and provide proof. Isn't that crazy? In other news, someone called out Mutahar as woke, saying that Mutahar is the reason why gaming is causing problems now. Mutahar, who cannot be more center and is now shifting more to be center right, cannot possibly be anybody who would be pro destruction of gaming or wokeism or whatever the hell you guys are complaining about these days. In other news, racism. And in most current news, Mighty Keith, the content creator who has been pretty vocal on Twitter about a lot of things that he likes and dislikes, with things that people have been doing, mostly in the gaming space. He's had an issue with, console war people getting onto him about stuff because, I don't know, they're weird. He saw that Grums made a tweet accusing him of saying that all critics of the game Zao are racist. Now, the context for this is that someone posted a tweet trying to say that DEI is responsible for this game being created, even though it is a game featuring a black main character made by black creators. It's made by a creator who put his heritage, a Kenyan man who put his culture into this video game so he could share it with the world. And somehow, some way, this was seen as quote unquote DEI. This is, diversity hire type, nonsense that some of these weirdos want to say is ruining games because, a black person is in the game. Therefore, it's got to be woke nonsense. Oh, also, Sweet Baby Inc. was mentioned. Jesus. Yes, Sweet Baby Inc. was involved in the creation of the game. They did not influence this being a video game that is about Kenyan culture. And there's also nothing wrong with that. So, as he should, Mighty Keith pointed out that this is ridiculous. This is ridiculousness and people should not be paying attention to that sort of thing. Now, this man, Grums, trying to make it seem like Mighty Keith is just some SJW whatcha-who's-its who's out here condemning anyone who mentions Sweet Baby Inc. or mentions any sort of black characters in a game and saying that it's all a woke conspiracy. And now Mighty Keith has to deal with all the fans of this guy and understand that they're all working with two brain cells. It just makes no sense. All right, it just makes no sense that we're in these situations where someone will just post just blatant lies, because of course he made lies about Mighty Keith and his intent behind the original posts or quote tweets that he made. He just spreading lies. He spreads lies about any sort of quote unquote woke content, and he just gets away with it. And at one point, this dude was like, "They're coming after me, so if I don't post anymore, then that the woke mob got me." And it's he's not that important. He's a failed game creator, and that's why he's doing this. And DEI has now become a term that's touted mainly through Twitter as a little dog whistle for just racist statements being thrown out, homophobic statements, transphobic statements, things of the like. DEI is being used to like be a catch-all for any sort of content that involves, well, any sort of gaming content right now. Actually, not just gaming, but you know, we're sticking with gaming here. Any sort of content that involves diverse cultures in their products. Like, you know, it's now not allowed to have, you know, a character, a main character in a video game be a black character or an African character. You know, it's not allowed for a character to be queer in a game. Like, you know what I mean? They're trying to make it seem like that's being done to destroy society, destroy gaming, all that stuff. It's not. So the term GamerGate has been thrown around by a lot of people recently. The reasoning behind that is because, you know, there was a movement in like the early aughts, I want to say the early 2010s, around 2014, between 2014 and 2016, there was a very interesting online movement that happened, right? It started with a woman named Zoe Quinn, who was a programmer who created the game Depression Quest. She put this game on Steam. She faced a lot of harassment for this game, for the way the game is, for things surrounding the game, but the main reason she was facing a lot of harassment is because in August of 2014, Aaron Yanni, however you say his name, it's on the screen. In August 2014, Aaron Yanni, a former boyfriend of Quinn's, posted like a blog post talking about his relationship in detail, basically like posting a lot of salt about his relationship, how it went, you know, trying to deface this woman a lot. And then he falsely accused her of receiving like praise for Depression Quest, or receiving a lot of positive like coverage from journalists due to her relationship with the journalist Nathan Grayson, who was someone that she was I believe dating at the time, right? And people just assumed that because she was like she was dating this man, because she was like sleeping with this man, that he somehow facilitated other journalists praising this video game that was doing something like a little bit different. And it turns out he never even wrote anything about her game in the first place, so it couldn't have been possible, and it would have only been one review that would have affected that. So how this became like a whole thing of people decided to hate this woman over this situation is beyond me. But we had lots and lots of things stem from that. We had lots of other harassment campaigns stem from that. There were a lot of like weird YouTubers at the time who would make videos like hating, you know, Anita Sarkeesian, Zoe Quinn, women in the gaming industry in general, and like making all these weird claims that they were like, you know, sleeping their way to the top, or trying to ruin games with wokeism, or like, you know, trying to change the structure of gaming, because some of them came out when they were like, maybe we should sexualize female characters a little bit less, you know, maybe we should do that. And of course people you can't fight the horny when it comes to things that would involve toning down the pieces of media or whatever objects they enjoy in the first place, whatever objects that you know, gets them all bricked up in the first place. You can't do that. So why are we talking about this now, right? Basically, do you remember this video?
Sorry, did you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what? Fucking pronouns!
Okay, yeah, so this guy, he like lost his mind over Starfield because of something like very, very minute. Why? Because of like, you know, a social movement of people saying, hey, maybe you should respect the people around you by understanding who they are and how they would like to be referred to as, you know, like what their preferred name is and what their pronouns are, you know, just to make sure that you're respecting them, you know, properly. That's it. And some people like, you know, displayed this stuff so that they just didn't have to like explain to other people their preferred pronouns or like, you know, terms or whatever, any of that stuff. So obviously a video game seeing this movement would, or video game dev seeing this movement would say, hey, we also like respect, so why don't we include that in our video game so that, you know, people will feel like included and stuff. Inclusion is now apparently like a taboo thing. It's not something you want to put in your video game. You know, it's a horrible thing to put in your video game. Says like a lot of like commentators who, some of them are grifters, some of them like really actually think these strange things, that like adding some inclusion to video games, to media, etc. is gonna like ruin society. So we're at this weird time where a lot of those people are just disseminating a lot of like misinformation. Like they're trying to poison the well so that like you feel that certain organizations exist and there's this huge conspiracy to like, I don't know, change the minds of people. I don't know, make them all gay, or it's always something dumb like that, you know. Add inclusivity so that, okay. Okay. This is gonna go towards the path of the white replacement theory. And I'm sorry that I have to like mention this, but some of these people legitimately believe that this is all some kind of conspiracy to co-opt society into erasing white people, particularly white men, from existence by using some espionage tactics of including LGBTQ plus people in the conversation or in media or in anything, like including them in things and respecting them, like making sure that these are not depictions that are just making them look like, you know, rabid monsters, as many things have done in the past. This is the best part of the theory. The theory is that interracial breeding will eventually erase white men. This is what they like truly believe. I'm sorry, this is actually what they believe. I'm dead ass. This is what they really believe. Some of your well-known Fox News casters have like mentioned this theory multiple times now.
They've been hearing about the Great Replacement Theory. You've heard a lot about the Great Replacement Theory recently. It's everywhere in the last 2 days, and we're still not sure exactly what it is.
That's why people are talking about GamerGate now, because, you know, theories like that should not be mainstream. They should be like, you know, confined to your average forum of, you know, 4chan, 8chan, the chans, and, you know, your occasional subreddit that should not be taken too seriously, right? A lot of people are trying to make it seem like the gaming space is a lot worse off than it actually is. You know, that because of the inclusion of diverse characters in media, particularly games, it's making the games worse, and that, you know, these companies don't have any sort of vision and all this other weird stuff, right? But a lot of that's bullshit. A lot of that is like it's just not true. Recently, there was a company called Sweet Baby, I called it Sweet Baby Jane's, I'm dumb. There was a company called Sweet Baby Inc., right? And some people who were like, you know, knee deep in some terminally online like spaces uncovered this company, which is a Canadian company that was founded by a former Ubisoft dev. And it's basically it's a consultant company. Like they're brought on to, you know, maybe add some perspectives on like certain games to include some more diverse characters, or, you know, things of the like, you know, restructure things so that they'll sell better. But some people took offense to that, and they formed, well, what most notably, a group called Sweet Baby Inc. Detected on Steam. And the Steam group was just people complaining about a lot of the inclusivity, and like complaining that these things are ruining their video games, even though it's not, you know. And so they teamed together to like try and like make this like harassment campaign, to make a campaign to like shut down the company at any point in time they can. And also, once they get the chance, to eradicate any sort of like inclusivity from games moving forward and convince society and game devs that that is the right way to go. That's going to make sure that your game will be a lot better. Sweet Baby Inc. is not doing anything to your video games. They were responsible to a lot of the video games that those same people love and say are the best games that they've ever played. Somehow we have to sit here and deal with the average gamer saying that their existence is ruining society, ruining gaming, by making sure that diverse cultures are respected, instead of having, like, I don't know, like a freaking like mammy on the screen. Like what are we talking about here, you know? It's just wild. Mind you, when asked like, hey, what's an example of a game that doesn't have any of this diversity that's like good because it lacked the diversity, or, you know, things like that, there are no real examples that can be provided. You know, at most people will say Last of Us 2. Okay. There is a Twitter thread of someone specifically saying that right now companies like Sweet Baby Inc. are trying to remove white men from video games. It's not possible. It's like it's just not possible. Like, it's straight up not possible. And I don't know if you know this, but like during the early 2000s, like a lot of, for some reason, marketing had a lot of protagonists for games look like this guy and like this guy, and it's just, I don't know, it was very boring. Like, people got bored of it, and, you know, companies started to notice that people got bored of it, and they started switching it up a little bit, because yeah, you can't just have everyone look like the same dude. They even took like Robin from one of the Arkham games. They took not Jason Todd, not Damian Wayne, Tim Drake. They took Tim Drake and they like made him look like this, and I don't know, it was a boring look. Like, it was all right, it was fine at the time, but like, it was a boring look, and people decided to move on from that. They wanted more vibrant looks for their characters, and they started making more unique characters, and some people got really offended by that. I don't know how you get offended by that, but some people did. You know? But the idea is that some of these people are going out of their way to use platforms like Twitter, Steam groups, Reddit, etc., to like band together and try to stop these companies from existing, because ultimately they want everyone to like just ignore the fact that consulting has been a thing for ages. Like, there are definitely more companies that are dedicated to doing the type of things Sweet Baby Inc. does. It's just not like Sweet Baby Inc. in general is also not just about adding diversity to games or whatever. That's like an aspect of what they do. Like, they're a consulting company. They're there to say, this is gonna sell. That's it. That's it. So, unfortunately, we have to talk about this to make sure that everyone knows that this is like a very small group of people trying to make it seem like they're a larger group of people to convince people of things that are not going on, you know? Once you go outside and touch grass, you'll see all kinds of different people out there. So like, what, it doesn't make sense to say, oh, the video games don't need that. Like, Mass Effect doesn't need different types of aliens. They just need one, you know? Like, it's silly. It's all really, really silly. But a lot of content creators are luckily like mentioning GamerGate to make sure that these things, that things don't get to the point that they were at in like 2016 specifically, because there was like a whole wave of these bad YouTubers who were just gish galloping a lot, you know, poisoning the well with a lot of dumb misinformation, or a lot of like bits and pieces of like truth here mixed in with lies to make it seem like a certain narrative is what's going on, and what that's the agenda for all these companies. It's not. It wasn't. It never was. So we need to make sure that as a society, when we see someone trying to say that the games industry or the music industry or society is being destroyed by respecting other cultures and respecting other people's existence. You have to be able to say, this is ridiculous. Please move on. Do not pay attention to this. Because these same people will tell you that Stellar Blade is, you know, the savior of the games industry. Why? Because it allows you to have a character that you can ogle, you know, like it allows you to have a character that's hot. As if that's the first time you've had a character like that in a video game, or the first time in a long time. But it's not. And it hasn't been. Like, hot characters in games all the time. I mean, holy crap, look at fighting games. Look at fighting games. Tekken 8 just came out, and look, Tekken 8 is so inclusive for the horny community that it has a whole ass femboy in the game. Like, you can't convince me that somehow the games industry has changed so that people who want to enjoy hot bodies, people who want to enjoy good gameplay, people who want to enjoy good video games are being ostracized now. None of that shit is going on. Good games still exist. Hot characters still exist. Like, if you want to do all those things, you can. Also, we know that Studio Filmmaker is installed on a lot of these guys' computers, and like we know where they're doing the models to these games. That's what they're really concerned about. But who cares? Who cares?